Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a Central Kentucky man is being remembered after a deadly car crash, how his family is moving forward. Plus, President Trump threatens military action against Iran for its crackdown on anti-government protests.
And it's quiet now, but all that's going to change as we go into Wednesday. Details coming up.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Good to be back with you tonight after my battle with the flu. President Trump says Iran is ready to talk after he issued threats of military intervention if the Islamic Republic continues to use violent force to quell protests in the country, which have been going on now for at least the last 2 weeks. CBS's Erica Brown has the latest on that from the White House.
Tens of thousands of people continue to take to the streets with daily demonstrations in Iran, chanting death to the dictator and openly calling for an end to the Islamic Republic. An independent human rights group says government forces have killed hundreds of protesters and arrested more than 10,000.
It's a war between a regime against its own citizenry. The country is in full revolt, and unlike preceding uprising that Iran has witnessed in recent years, this time people are on the streets to put a final end to this regime.
Iran's exiled crown prince has been calling for Iranians to rise up against the Islamic government and for the U.S. to help free the country.
Are we alone in this fight, or will this time the world respond to this brutality and come to their help?
President Trump has threatened military action if Iran continues to kill protesters. And a U.S. official tells CBS News the president has been briefed on options for military strikes inside the country.
We're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options.
Iran's foreign minister says his country is ready for war if the U.S. takes military action.
What you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately, and I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages.
A source with knowledge of talks between the two countries confirms to CBS News that Iran's foreign minister has reached out to U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff about a meeting. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The Iranian president has blamed the ongoing protests on foreign-linked terrorists. He thanked thousands of Iranians who participated in a pro-government rally in Tehran today. A man accused in the deaths of his ex-wife and her husband made his first court appearance today before a judge in Illinois. Michael McKee was arrested during the weekend. He was charged with 2 counts of murder in connection with the deaths of Spencer and Monique Tepe, which happened in Columbus, Ohio. Police say they found the couple dead with apparent gunshot wounds during a welfare check. According to court records, McKee was Tepe's former husband. The Justice Department has charged a man shot by federal officers in Portland, Oregon last week for violently striking a Border Patrol agent's vehicle. The DOJ released images of a damaged Border Patrol vehicle tied to the shooting that occurred during a traffic stop on Thursday. Prosecutors say Luis Nino Moncada repeatedly struck a federal law enforcement vehicle with his car. He is facing a charge of aggravated assault of a federal officer with a deadly or dangerous weapon. The Justice Department has launched an investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. It comes after months of pressure from President Trump, but the move is prompting resistance from within his own party. The investigation into Powell focuses on whether he misled Congress about the scope and cost of a roughly $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's headquarters. President Trump had criticized Powell for not cutting interest rates more aggressively. It was a pretty wild weather weekend as temperatures plunged yesterday, and we even had a few snow squalls. We could see more snow before the end of the week. Meteorologist Eric Dean has our first look at the forecast. Eric.
That's right, Steve, and that's why first alert weather days have been declared for 2 reasons, actually. The first one, that snow chance, not out of the question, but the second part of this is dangerous cold wind chills as we go into the second half of the work week. Right now on First Alert Live, pinpoint Doppler radar, all is quiet. throughout eastern Kentucky, and this will get a break for tomorrow as well. When you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s will greet you. We'll go to 30 in Hazard as well as Jackson, 29 Manchester, 32 in Irvine. Somerset will drop down to 26 degrees. We'll see clear skies with light south-southwesterly wind. For your Tuesday, unseasonably warm. Once again, we're talking temperatures mid to upper 50s, very close to 60 in Manchester, Mount Vernon going to 55, the Double Nichols 57 in Somerset, as well as London. Here's Future View again. All is quiet for your Tuesday. So when we get into Tuesday night, going into Wednesday morning, that's when the shower chances you can see here start to ramp up. Here's 2 a.m. Wednesday. See that line stretching from Louisa to Jackson, just north of London. We'll time out the rest of the week coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thank you. We are learning more about what police say led to a weekend crash in Bourbon County that killed one man and sent another man to jail. Police say the driver of the car that crashed, 28-year-old Nathaniel Pack, now faces multiple charges, including reckless homicide. They say his passenger died in the crash on Bethlehem Road Saturday night. Maggie Rickerby has more on how the victim's family is remembering him.
It was Saturday night when Melissa McKee received the worst phone call a mother could ever get.
She said there was a wreck and he didn't make it. And I was like, who are you? Who's calling me? And she said, I'm the Bourbon County coroner.
The coroner confirmed to WKYT that 27-year-old Charles, or CJ McKee, died due to blunt force trauma in a car crash. According to an arrest citation, police say 28-year-old Nathaniel Pack was behind the wheel. Police say they smelled alcohol on his breath and asked if he had been drinking. Pack said he and McKee both had 3 beers at Logan's in Lexington. Police say he then took a breathalyzer test, which read .110, which is over the legal driving limit. He was then taken to get medical care and then lodged in a Bourbon County detention center. Caitlin Rowland with Mothers Against Drunk Driving says choosing to drive drunk has consequences. She says in the U.S., statistically, every 39 minutes, someone dies from drunk driving.
We are devastated that, one man's alleged decision to drive under the influence of alcohol has come to the effect of this and cost another young man his life.
Police say Pack was charged with reckless homicide, failure to wear a seatbelt, and driving under the influence of alcohol.
I don't think this is something I'll ever come back from.
As she mourns her firstborn after such an unexpected death, Melissa says CJ and Pack have been friends since middle school.
I lost my baby, but Nate's life got ruined too.
CJ leaves behind 3 daughters, his mom, countless friends and family members, and his younger brother, Matthew, who says he's always been against drunk driving. He says he never expected this to happen to his family.
If he just felt an ounce of pain of what it's like to lose somebody that close to you, he wouldn't have gotten behind that wheel drunk.
As the family mourns the cheerful, easy-to-smile father of 3, they've started a GoFundMe for CJ's funeral expenses. In Bourbon County, Maggie Rickerby, WKYT.
A police officer has been placed on administrative leave after a shooting last night left a man dead in Boyle County. Danville police say they responded to a call around 9:30 last night where 29-year-old Cody Downey was threatening self-harm with a knife. Officers arrived at Downey's apartment and found him holding a knife. Downey was told to drop it, and he charged at an officer, knocking him to the ground. The officer fired his service weapon, hitting Downey in the chest. Downey was taken to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. The officer was placed on administrative leave, and Kentucky State Police are investigating. In Laurel County, the sheriff's office says a man was arrested after driving recklessly Friday night. Authorities say 56-year-old Gary Ritchie failed to stop and led police on a chase north of London. After the vehicle stopped, police found that Ritchie was under the influence of alcohol. Ritchie was charged with 8 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment, first-degree evading police, and driving under the influence. In Pulaski County, state police are looking for a missing man. Here's a picture of 54-year-old Frank Coomer of Somerset. Troopers say he was last seen on January 10th. They say he's 6 feet tall, weighs roughly 150 pounds. He was last seen wearing a camouflage shirt with blue jeans and boots. If you have any information, contact London KSP Post at 606-878-6622. A street has closed in a busy part of Ashland. It's on 29th Street, and it may impact the daily commute for some. It extends from Lexington Avenue to Winchester Avenue, a stretch of road with a number of businesses and drivers passing through on a daily basis. Local and business traffic will be allowed, but all truck traffic must detour to 25th Street. Emergency access will also be maintained in the area. Officials say the construction project may last up to 2 weeks.
What they're actually doing is installing a manhole on a sewer line. The manhole is going to allow us to get access to the sewer to be able to put a liner inside that sewer so that we don't have to open excavate it to repair it.
Officials say the project could be finished sooner than that, but in the meantime, they recommend drivers find an alternate route when possible. Kentucky schools are making the change from the ACT to the SAT this spring, and Hardin County schools are preparing for that change. Chief Academic Officer for Hardin County, Greg Sutton, says the SAT offers more benefits to students, such as adaptive questions, a shorter test length, and a focus on critical thinking.
The ACT did have an English, math, a reading, and a science section. What you see about the SAT is it doesn't necessarily have a section specific to science. That's primarily reading, writing, and math. But what they do is they integrate the science questions across the different sections within the test.
Sutton also says the SAT is accepted nationwide and at many Kentucky schools such as UK, U of L, WKU, and EKU. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the Department of Homeland Security is investing more than $100 million into new technology ahead of the World Cup this summer.
And it's quiet now, but first alert weather days have been declared for Wednesday going into Monday of next week. Details coming up.